Hey, Ronnie, how's it going? How's it going?
Good evening, Yashika. I'm grateful as always. I'm grateful. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Before we get into it, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself to everyone, and then you can introduce yourself, and then we will do the countdown. So, good evening, everyone. And those of you who are joining us out there, be sure to allow StreamYard to have access to you because this is being streamed through StreamYard to YouTube. So just go ahead and click the button and let them have access to you. Answer, I think you have to, maybe say, turn on a notification or something like that. You can go ahead and disable that later. I am Yashika Foster. I am the artist of dating, and I help women professionals as well as women entrepreneurs be comfortable and confident in dating, so that they ask for exactly what they want, what they need, and get it, and keep balance between being an entrepreneur or a boss in corporate and being someone that dates that find love. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronnie Walker. I'm Master Coach of Exceptional Relationships, Dating, and Sex. And in short, it's just pretty much just taking dating, relationship, and sex from a self-development standpoint. So that's, in short, with making sure that we provide everybody with the mindset that they need to move forward in the space of sharing your life with someone.
Okay, okay, got it. And Ronnie, I appreciate you being here. And before I give the subject, we're going to go ahead and do our countdown. All right, Ronnie, we are back. And first, I want to go ahead and say thank you so much for being a part of this with me and my journey. Like we always talk about, we already know that relationships is something that many of us really have a hard time understanding and allowing to progress through time, right? Like I said in a live yesterday about how it seems that nowadays we are having more baby showers than weddings. And yeah, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on because it's not going the way it should be, when it comes to us, because and especially in our generation, right? Generation X. A lot of us are single, men and women, not just women, but the men are single as well. And if they do, if they are in relationships, they're not in real relationships. They are in those relationships that's just for the right now. And same thing with women. Women, we have, not necessarily relationships, we have entanglements in the word of Jada Pickett Smith. And we have, a person for this, person for that. And so it all boils down to, um, for me as a woman, um, and again, this isn't to disregard men, but today we are talking about what do women really want in regards to a relationship. Okay. um, I realize that there's a lot of misunderstanding about what defines a relationship. A guy can say, I'm talking to this person over here, and then and again, guy on guy, girl on girl, girl and boy, whatever. But one person can say, I'm in a relationship, and the other person will say, this is my boyfriend or girlfriend. Or, when that other person says not a relationship, but they say I'm talking to this person. And then the other person says I'm in a relationship. And so it's like, okay, well, are you boyfriend and girlfriend, or are you just in a situation? Because this person identifies it as just talking or being in a situation, but then the other person says, this is my boyfriend or my girlfriend, thinking that they moved to the next level, when in actuality, they're just, according to that person, they're just still in the development stage. So again, it gets to my original question: exactly what do women really want? What do women really want? Because sometimes I think we don't know.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack from what you just shared, Ishika. And the answer to this particular question really depends on the woman, where she's at in her life, generation we're talking about. You're going to get a variety of answers. But let me start off by saying this. Packed into what you were sharing, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I've always stated that far too often we make the dating relationship a lot more complicated than it has to be.
Hmm.
Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that there isn't work involved. And of course, as we know in life, there are challenges that come along the way. And that, of course, is many will tell you, is the true test of yourself, true test of dating, and the true test of the relationship itself. And yes, we are having far too many baby showers in marriages. And there is a number of reasons for that. One being is that there are people who feel that they don't need to be married in order to have a family. However, though, at least in my space, I get far more women complaining about caring before they marry. And you never want to go into a space of, well, what made you think it was going to be better? But again, once you really dial it down, you'll see the lessons or that they've received and from who. I think that's the first challenge. Also, when we talk about what women really want, we have to be very specific. I think, I find too often in conversations when I have consult, where women will give you this list of what they want.
Hmm.
And it's not until I says, okay, well, what has to happen in order for you to feel that or receive
Hmm.
that? And this is when you get the looking up in the sky, ha, I never thought of that because they believe that everybody has the same definition as to what they think it is. So, if I may, I'm just going to give you a few things that women will say that they want. Okay. Number one, first and foremost, they want love. But then again, you love your mother, you love your father, you love your children, you love your puppy, your pet. But now, when we're talking about intimate love, that's another level.
Hmm.
And so this is one of those questions where I will say, well, okay, what has to happen in order for you to feel loved from this man?
Hmm.
And you would be surprised as to how many women really truly stutter in this space because they really, for the first part, had to think because it's a lot more than just holding hands walking on the park or walking on the beach.
Hmm.
Now, another thing women want is they want security.
Hmm.
Well, but they don't say security. Many
Right.
women say, I want a man with money.
Hmm.
And see, sometimes in a man's mind, that translates nowadays into gold digger.
Right.
They only want me for my money.
Hmm.
So we're just an ATM machine. And I says, no. Okay, so what do you mean money? How much money? What do you want to do with this money? And then this is when they now have to dig deeper and decide, okay, this is what I mean when I say money. And really what it translates into is security.
Right. Right.
Like I said, based on who you're asking, women want children.
Hmm.
Women want to grow a family. But now again, what we just say as a family today, a lot of people don't believe that in order to have a family, you have to be married. And this is a question in the dating space that you're going to have to ask these questions because there's no need to get together with a man who's looking for marriage and and then because if he wants to have children and then she's of the space, well, we can have children but we don't have to have marriage.
Hmm.
That's a recipe for disaster as it is.
Right.
Women want a problem solver. If there is And women say this a number of different ways, but women are looking for solutions. And here's something I tell men often. Gentlemen, sometimes the solution that a woman is looking for is not what we think a solution is.
Mhm.
So if she's coming to you about challenges throughout the day, she's not looking for, and I had to learn this hard way as well. Oh, that's simple. Just do ABC.
Mhm.
And then we think that we've solved the problem and we're pounding our chests and we're thinking we're going to get rewarded at the end of the night, when in fact, she's in the same disposition it was when she started the story.
Mhm.
See, the solution for her was just for her to be heard. She just wants to vent. She just wants to share her story and what it is that she felt
Mhm.
and know that she has been heard. A woman wants a friend.
Mhm.
A woman wants someone that they know that they can speak to. Now, mind you, when I ask women, what does that mean? They really have to discern, because in all honesty, there are just some things men are just not equipped to handle or deal with or listen to. And this is why I believe healthy relationships with other women is important in a relationship. So, ladies, if you're having challenges being friends with your own sex, then that's something I think you need to address before you involve a man into this situation. Because I can assure you, you're going to hit him with some stuff he's not ready to deal with. So, from your body language, it seems that you have something in that you can expand on. So, please share.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I tell women, I hear that, you know, in my life, I hear women say that often about, and this is the talk on one part, and I'll speak on the other parts, but the last part, I hear women often say, well, I don't have many women friends. I vibe more with a guy, right? And that's cool if you vibe more with a guy. However, I believe, and this is just my own opinion. So when y'all come in the comments, make sure you understand my opinion. Everybody got an opinion, just like you know what. So, but I feel that having a person of the same sex as you being your friend, it helps you to dig deeper about who you are and realize who you are, understand who you are, because we go into this life like we learn from the same person, the same sex person. If I have somebody over here, like for example, I'm gonna give you an example. The color of my hair now is like a magenta red. And I go to my local gym, and there's a lady there that goes whenever I go. And when I first put this style of color in my hair, and I went to the gym, she was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair color." And I explained to her that it's not mine, but I get it, and I appreciate it. And I don't know what number it is, but if I look on the package, I'll tell you what number it is, right? And so from that, she and I, every because it's been about maybe it's been a couple of days, but since then we've developed a little relationship. When I see her in the gym, it's like hi, but it started from my hair color, her seeing me with this hair color, and then I bring this story up because even today, when I was coming into the gym, she was going out because I was a little late, and she said, "Hey," she was like, "You know what? I told my sister about you, how I saw you at the gym, and I love your hair color." And she said, "I'm gonna do my hair like that." And she had the type of hair where she could, put some color on it, wouldn't do anything. I don't, well, her nationality is irrelevant, but she could do it with, her hair with no issue. And I say, child, I said, you know what? Go to the store and you can look at the different hair color packages and get the number off of it, and you may be able to get a color that's the same. I said, but as a cosmetologist, I said, I don't know the number right off the bat, but you can probably go and take it to your beautician and she could figure it out. And so I just say all that. I know I told a whole story, right? I told a whole story. But to say all that, she saw this color from me, right? Which means that she saw something in me or me that she liked. And so when we are women, whether it's men or women, that's how we get an understanding of who we are, is by watching other people. Whether it be you see somebody and you be like, you know what, I like that dress. I'm gonna ask her where she got it from or whatever. Like when Michelle Obama wore these colors and it was from what is it, Black Market White House or White House Black Market, whatever that store is called. Those dresses were sold out. Like literally, the dress was in demand when she wore one of them from one of the things she showed up at, and it was an affordable dress. I'm talking $100, right, on Michelle Obama. So everybody went out to try to buy that dress. So again, we saw something in another woman that we like, and it helps us better understand us. So we can start figuring, so as we grow up, we start, because we evolve, we see things, we grow. So we have an better understanding of me. I mean, there's things that I learned as a private and basic trainer in my formal life that I didn't even know to do, that these girls would tell me about. And because you sit around everybody in the barracks, and I was like, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And so I learned from a group of girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's certain things that I wasn't raised with doing, and these girls who were from different parts of the world, or the United States, they was like, no, you supposed to do this. And so I was like, okay, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And so again, me watching other girls. And so I just think that women need to revisit that when they say that they don't have many friends, or that they vibe better with men. And of course, that's a whole nother subject, why women vibe better with men, or they think they vibe better with men. But that's another platform. That's another subject. We can do that one day. But back to what you were saying about the security, and what we really need is this. You're absolutely correct in saying that we need all those things. One thing I can say, I always like to reference things with a story. Just before this live, I saw somebody post a question online about women paying for dates, right? And when should a woman pay for a date? So I shared my whole spiel about what I think and reason why, and how I behaved in certain dates. But one of the things for sure that I told her at the end of it is, at the end of the day, women need somebody. Women, when a man and a woman chooses to go to the next level in their relationship, they're coming to the understanding that, because of the way we are created, that he is going to be her protector and her provider, right? That's what a man signs up for. Now, I'm not telling you that once we become together or whatever, that you're going to 100% take care of me. In some situations that happen, but for the average person, both people are working. But it's just the understanding, when you say provider, that means more than just you giving me a place to stay, or paying for our mortgage, or paying for our food or whatever. Provider means more than that. That means providing the things that I need, you need, we need, right? That means the being my friend. That means being my confidant. That means those things are not just support roles. Those are also providing roles. I'm providing you an avenue to be able to vent. I'm providing you a shoulder to cry on. I'm providing you this. So it goes more than just from the financial perspective, but for whatever reason, everyone always wraps their brain around it being financial when women say providers, right? So we need all those things. We want all those things. And what I also said in that post was, at the end of the day, I don't care what other people are saying. I don't give a dang on about how much, you can look on social media or on these dating sites and find some one night stands. I don't care about none of that. At the end of the day, we are the prize. And that's just my story, and I'm sticking to it. We are the prize. And so with that being said, is that once women understand that, and that at the end of the day, men want us just like we want them. Once they understand that, then they'll stop with the taking certain abuse and certain things from men. When, if you understand who you are as a woman, because guess what? A man will listen to us. A man will follow us. We have to let them think that they're doing it, or that they came up with a brilliant idea. But at the end of the day, we have this up here, that we are the person. Because think of it this way: we were created from you guys' is rib, right? When we were first formed, we were made from the rib, right? So we come from you. But from that day forward, now you can't get here without my womb. So that's totally different. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, God said, well, I won't bring religion into this, but in other words, this is where we started. But never, ever, ever, never, except for the very first female on earth, have ever man ever birthed a child. No man has ever birthed another man. Only women birth men and women. So that's why we have to realize that we're the prize. We so don't lower our standards. Don't lower your standards where you're allowing yourself to be in situations that are unhealthy. When I say lower your standards, have nothing to do with, I said I wanted a 7-figure guy, but I'm gonna settle for a 6-figure. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about lowering your standards when it comes to allowing certain things to go on in a relationship when you know that you deserve better, when you know that you can get better, that you know you don't have to tolerate those type of things. Because yeah, we have abuse from both sides going on in the world, but at the end of the day, there are a ton more women's shelters than there are men's shelters. And so when you think about it from that perspective, there are more women who are running from something than there are men. Men typically run from their own demons. Women typically run from men. Period. Period. Yeah, you got a few of them out here that done bad and just got on the wrong street. But if you listen to their story, a lot of those women who are out here were assaulted in some kind of way by a man. I'm not saying the man is all the problems, but this is how a lot of them get down those tracks is again coming from the man. So when I say all that, if women realize that they're the prize, right, then we can do a lot different about when it comes to dating and who we allow in our circle. That's it. I'm off my soapbox. I'm off my soapbox. But wait a minute. Before we go any further, Ronnie, what you drinking on tonight?
Wow, I'm having a decadent red, a Cabernet Sauvignon, with a glass. It was I visited this one beverage store, and a lady was sampling this. So to support her, and then she was giving these free glasses that not as masculine as I would like it to be, but I figured, okay, you know what? She said you must have it in the glass because it'll taste better. Okay, sure, if you say so.
Absolutely.
That's good.
It's a
So
whole. It's a
here
whole.
I am. Exactly. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to lie to her and say I'm not going to drink out of it. I'm going to drink when I'm not. So I decided I would do that. But that's what I'm having. I just decided that being that we are dealing with such what I truly feel is a heavy subject, I figured I'd have something a little lighthearted in the beverage department to
Well,
complement it.
absolutely. Let me tell you something. I'm glad you put some thought into it because I got a bottle of wine sitting over here. But the day I had a drink in mind that I wanted to drink on, and I discovered, how certain holidays they release a new wine just or new drink just for a short period of time. Well, for the summer, they released this like summer flavor Ciroc that was like a pink orangey color,
Hmm.
and it was really popular as a matter of fact because people were trying to buy it and they couldn't find it anywhere because it was they made so many of them. Well, anyway, I was going to drink on that with a little bit of juice in it because I needed something stronger than wine today, and I have no idea where the bottle is. When I tell you I have no idea, I was thinking maybe I put it in my luggage because I went out of town week before last, I unpacked my luggage. So I don't know if I threw it in the back of my car and is rolled in the trunk or something. I don't know where it's at because I've had it for a few months. So what I decided to do, because I still needed something stronger, I had some Patron. Okay. I haven't taken a sip of it yet, but I've had some Patron. I got some Patron in here, and my grandmother told me, rest her soul, that when it comes to liquor, as long as you got ice, you don't need anything in it because the liquor dilutes it. So I don't know how true that was because I know that this glass was pretty much full with ice and now it's diluted. And I put just a pinch of lemon juice in it. I haven't taken a drink of it yet because I think I'll be on 10, but I'm gonna take a drink of it now. So
You mean you're not on 10 after what you just shared?
yeah, yeah. This is yeah. So I'm gonna take a drink of it while you reply to my last a little soapbox thing I was doing there.
Okay. No, that's fine. I mean, again, the whole purpose of this platform. So while you're enjoying that, let me share, ladies and gentlemen, um, that you can now go to our brand new released website to book some time with Yashika and I, or both of us. You just go to datingdiscussions.com. That's datingdiscussions.com, or you can go to ronnieandyashika.com. That's ronnieandyashika.com. And on that website, you can see a little bit of background on Yashika and I. And if you feel that you can relate to one of us, in which you could like to book a consultation, by all means do so. There is a place that you can go to do that. Also, One of the things that Yashik and I, as we put together the various platforms, you can now see us on Instagram at Ronnie and Yashika as well. And we're going to be releasing this Friday a Patreon page. And the reasons that we have these platforms and these places where you could choose to donate is because we really want to keep this commercial free. We want to keep this as free flowing as possible because, listen, we can all admit that we are not big fans of commercials because, you get into a good flow, and next thing you know, something pops up and you're going to have to go give something. Now, again, based on the influx of, for those of you who want to contribute and support, then we don't have to go that route. However, we do know that these platforms do take a great investment to do, and we want to make sure that we're able to provide you with the content that you have. We also have Cash App. You'll see dollar sign results with Ronnie. Yashika, please help the audience that may want to contribute to your Cash App. What is that?
Okay, so mine is flowing through now. So that's Yashika G, Yasheka G. And so yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I'll have that periodically stroll down while yours stroll down. So yeah, so they can have it. And so we take all cash apps. We don't discriminate, no matter how. If you find some type of value in the videos that we're providing, and not just this one, but we have videos coming out weekly. And so you can catch us on the Ronnie and Yashika's dating discussions through YouTube, and you can just once you see one video, the rest of them will come up as suggestions. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment, and then let us know if there's something specific that you would like for us to discuss on this platform or any
Absolutely.
platform, or if you want some maybe a little email chat of something that you're struggling with or you need advice on and you want to reach out to one of us, the email will be provided in this video as well as the websites that Ronnie discussed. But just send us a message and we will reply to your message. If you got some things that you just want some uncle or auntie advice on, just hit us up on Yashika and Ronnie at Gmail or yeah at gmail.com. And
Yes.
so yeah, and so, yeah, Ronnie. So this is a discussion that I just know that is needed. And I actually asked this question on another platform a couple of days ago. The opposite. What do men really want? And I've gotten some interesting things. And what I realized is that it was all the same thing. It's just coming from a masculine perspective and then a feminine perspective, right? He say this, she say that. But when you think about it, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. We want the same thing.
Yes. And unfortunately, the platforms, I mean, right now, let's face it, we're in a space where anybody with a cell phone, tablet, or laptop can get on and say whatever the hell it is they want to say. And I find one of the challenges to having a conductive and a conducive conversation is these dissenting voices. I mean, there are a lot of hurt people online. And as often as people will want to proclaim that, social media isn't real life, I would argue that many of them are mistaken. There are many people who share their journeys, their joys, and their challenges. And there are those people, like for instance, I'll give you on my Facebook page, I shared some of the journeys that I had after heartbreak years ago. And it was more than one. And one of the main reasons when people ask me, well, Ron, why is it that you can talk about this heartbreak, which was devastating to many, with such ease? And I said, that's because I did the work on myself. I
Yes.
realized that I wasn't going to penalize every woman in existence for what happened for these individual women, because you know, to be honest with you, these were some great women.
Mhm.
There was just so many great attributes to them. So if I'm going to you know, hold them accountable for the pain, then I'm also going to give them credit for the joy they brought in my life because I got some value out of them as well. So I put in the work in myself, I invested, I read. These are things that I did to make sure that I didn't come out of this situation in a very better space. Unfortunately, there are a lot of men and women who haven't done that. And
Yes.
so they're out there sharing. It's just the vitriol is just on level 500 million, DEF CON 4, totally scorched earth. And unfortunately, there are many that they influence. And I truly believe this is part of what plays such a very, very bad role in keeping or creating the disconnect that men and women like to have. For instance, even today, I'm on YouTube listening to this woman who was talking about how she was just marrying good guys just so she can divorce them and get money out of them. And this is something that she's going to teach. Now, again, we can all sit here and say, well, Ronnie, that's her life and she can live it how she wants. And you know what? They'd be right. But now they're including men who thought that they were going to have a fella have, forever, forever after. And
Hmm.
yet she's already planning that she's going to be here a while, divorce him, get alimony, and then she's going to go live her best life, you know? And I don't know how many women this woman has reached, but I guarantee it's more than two, more than 200. How many men have heard this? Because as we know, people are going to share this,
Right.
and this is something that men are now going to internalize, and unfortunately, they're going to paint all women this way.
That's a
And this is
dangerous
just, and
play.
so I'm seeing more and more channels like this. Now, again, far be it from me to say, to judge this one, but I'm just telling you, I don't know what type of issues or trauma or challenges that she's had, you know, but she's doing what she felt she needs to do to survive in this dating space because, of course, her view on men is not the most positive and just a happily ever after. And she feels that she's justified in her actions. Now, I say all of that to say that these are the things that we as men are now hearing in increasing numbers, and it is skewing our outlook and moving forward with women. And so, this is why I'm always talking to men and I'm talking to women that, you really have to take the time to listen to see what their story is because sometimes their outlook on men sometimes it isn't just their past dating or marriage experience. It could be the people who they love and respect that is really putting all of these thoughts in their head about the opposite sex. And so over time, this messes up their way of thinking. And so they really, I mean, it's just increasing number of women who just refuse now to get married. There are men who refuse to get married. And again, for some of them, they have what they feel are valid reasons. So when we talk about what women want, what men want, yes, some of that is the same, but there are some things that are different. But for the sake of this program, we're definitely focusing on the women.
Mhm.
So it's a journey. It's a journey, and I'm glad that you are reaching out there and having this conversation with other groups because the men definitely need to be heard,
Yeah,
and it's good that they have a woman that's listening to them.
absolutely. And I took, very good notes. But I was just going to also say, when it comes to that, I know people make money how they make money. People are teaching, making money, showing people how to dress up as animals and bring out their inner cat or their inner dog. So listen, it's a whole movement out here about the things that people are into and making money on. So when I hear people teaching other people how to marry a person and get alimony from them, I understand hustle. But for those of them who are interested in that, as an older woman, you got to understand that when you're doing stuff like that, that is a dangerous game because you never know that person. That person may, and I'm speaking from things that I know of personally, especially being that I serve, you know what I mean? Because in the military, when a person divorces somebody that they've been married to for more than 10 years, once that person retires, they can get half of their paycheck. And so I know from experience of watching this and being a part of all some of these things unfold, well, the man have went crazy and killed everybody, because he thought about, here I am divorcing my wife after all these years or after 10 years or however long it takes. And now she's talking about excuse me, here I am, they're divorcing my wife. She wants to divorce me, and I've served in the military, and I've gotten all this money, and now she's going to walk away with my kid, and she's going to walk away with half of my check. And so he went crazy, and it was so bad that I remember this. I'm talking about one particular incident. This guy called the cops himself and sat on the porch and waited on them because he knew he was going to jail. And so that when you're talking about people and their mental space and their money, right, and it's not all together, that's a dangerous freaking game to play. That is a dangerous game to play. So for the person who's out here hustling it, listen, I'm talking against it. I don't care who it is. Because I wanted to give them a leeway and think about, the hustle game. But that is a doggone that is seriously a dangerous game. So, you know, anyway, that's that. But
Yes.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean, because like, listen, I know we're on our platform and everything, but when it comes to, because when it comes, because you hear about it all the time of people doing things to people, and so as we go through this and we educate people and we give them our opinions about things, we have to be honest about things, right? We can't be walking around and tippy toeing out to offend anybody, because I can guarantee you that there's going to be times where people are going to watch us and they may not like what we say, period. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, we all have an opinion. And I'm telling you from my opinion that that game is a dangerous game, period. I have, folks in my family that died in the hands of a man. So I'm serious when it comes to that. But anyway, um, when it comes to relationships and what women want, I think that some of the part that that we struggle in is just properly communicating. We don't properly communicate it. Sometimes it comes off as a nag. It comes off as, treating that person like they're a child. It comes off as um, just being angry. It comes off as fussing and fighting. A person says, "You don't pay me no attention. You don't do this," and they're doing it in the middle of an argument. So of course, that person is not going to really hear them because they're both in a very emotional state if they're arguing. And so the messages don't really get come across clearly, right? And so of course we go into the communication part of it. And this is once you are in a relationship, but even on the outside of the relationship, when you're just getting to know somebody, right? You have to communicate with that person to say, to have those deep dive conversations, to have those intimate conversations of, what it is that you really want. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is do you think that, do you feel comfortable about this going to the next level? Like have those conversations. Don't just assume that, like I said earlier, that this person is my boyfriend or my girlfriend. Have the conversation so that you can get what you need from this person. Because if you're not having that conversation and you think you're getting this, but then come to find out you wasn't even really in a relationship according to that person, then your needs are not getting met because you put it so much time or however long it was until something that you thought you were at one level when you're not. And so you thinking that you're about to go to the next level. I've been kicking it with this guy for 2 years, and I'm going to use just me, saying guy. But again, date who you want to date. Um, but I'm with this guy for 2 years because I've heard these stories, and he tells me this is going too fast for him. My first question was he your boyfriend, or were you guys just kicking it? Because you may have been monogamous in the relationship and thinking that this is your boyfriend, but never, ever, ever during those 2 years where there's a discussion that happened, but you figure because you guys go out together, because you met his parents, he met your parents, y'all done had sex together, y'all done did these things together, you assume that he was your boyfriend, right? And I mean, I know that dating hasn't changed too much where, I don't know if we still need to write on a piece of paper and say, will you be my boyfriend or girlfriend? Circle yes or no. I don't know how we have to do it. But you have to ask the person, where are we right now? Am I your woman? Are we exclusive? Am I your man? Are we exclusive? So that way your needs can be met. And then when you are realizing you are exclusive, right? What does that look like for you in the relationship? What is it that you seek? Are you looking to go to the next level? So you have that conversation. Like I said in the video last week, there was a girl who was in with a guy, that decided not to propose because he didn't want to have her last name. But see, I think that that was good the way it happened in that sense because they had that discussion before instead of waiting until after he popped the question or waiting until they're halfway down the altar or they waiting to sign the license and she doesn't wait a minute. I don't want to change my name, right? So he was able to decide if this was a person he wanted to spend his rest of life with. And she realized that because he needs this, maybe this isn't something that I want. So it doesn't check my need because the person I want to marry will understand why I want to keep my last name or why I want to hyphenate my last name instead of totally changing it, right? So again, this is part of the meeting your needs or getting what you want. And like I said, it starts with a conversation. It starts with the very beginning of understanding where you guys at and where you guys see one another, if at all, in the next couple of months, weeks, years, whatever. Go from there. And then once you do that, have those conversations. Ask him how can I make you better? How can you make me better? What can we do together to make the world better? Right? Have that conversation. And then stick with the plan or whatever. You know, if there's a plan that says, well, you know, I'm looking to get married in 2 years. Okay, but does that look like with me? You know, do you see yourself marrying me in 2 years? You know, do you want two kids and a dog and a picket white fence? Right? Are you going to be a provider? Can you change a tire? Right? When I want this is are you going to do this? If I want to explore in this area, are you open to that? Like whatever that looks like for you to get your needs met, it all starts with a conversation. And you can't read people's minds. So you can't assume that they say this. And then another thing that women do is trying to change a man's mind. Like women go into relationships thinking that, well, I'ma change him, right? That is wrong. That is absolutely wrong, right? Because again, when you do that, because we're talking about what women really want, when you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure to not get your needs met because he showed you who he is. He's told you who he was. He's told you what he is and is not going to do. But somewhere in your mind, you thought that you can change him. And you have to be prepared that if he don't change, he's going to stay the same person that he told you he was, right? That's it. That's simple. Simple.
Yashika, let's, on the list of things that women want, they want the power to change a man. So let me, as if you didn't get that very clear message from Yashika, let me add on, reiterate what she said. It can be done. Now, make no mistake about it. There are going to be some men who's going to be out there say, Ron, I met this woman and I changed. No, that she may have inspired you, and there
Right.
were those things that a woman will do. But trust me, there was a point that you came, called an epiphany, a defining moment, where the thought was already there,
Mm-hmm.
and she provided some motivation. But did
Mm-hmm.
she change you? No, no. You, I mean, this is those things that again, one of the things that women want but can't, can't do. And in my 30 years in this space, women fight me on this, women fight me on this, women fight me on this. And I'm grateful that for the most part, a lot do listen. But women can be very defiant when it comes to picking this battle. And because they may have found somebody or read about somebody or someone online shared a story of some hard headed man they thought was just impossible, and somehow she got him to change. And I'm like, no, there's always a story behind the story, so let's not go through this story. And then they find out this is not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just add something else onto this when we talk about what women want, Yashika.
Okay.
Women want to travel with a man. I don't care how many girls' trips women go on, and they jet ski and they ride the horses and they swim with the pigs and they do the flying dress and in Greece or whatever. Ultimately, and over time, that gets old. And at some point, a woman wants to wake up with the sun blazing through the balcony, the window, and she opens her eyes and sees a man next to her.
Praise Jesus.
And then they say good morning to each other. They kiss, maybe before they brush their teeth or after, and they make love. Women want to travel with a man. They want to make love on the balconies. They want to walk through the streets of Ghana, you know, parts of Africa, Europe, the Mediterranean,
Absolutely.
on the road. And they want to travel. And along with that, what the women want is they want the intimacy.
Hmm.
They want intimacy. They want passion. They want eroticism. And that is something they want from a man. You know, they love their girlfriends. They love being there and sharing the triumphs and the tears and things of that nature. But ultimately, and I know there's so many messages out there. We don't need no man, and I don't need this. But let me tell you something. If you li- if you listen long enough, I'm the one who gets that call where that woman is saying, Ronnie, you know what? I thought this is what I want, but what I want to date. I want to be courted. I want to be told I'm beautiful from someone other than my girlfriends.
Hmm.
So these are the things that women want. And I know there's more, but this is pretty much the fundamental. But ladies, whatever it is that I listed, if this is what you want, I know this all because again, the numbers and the names, the words are the same. Just make sure that when you're communicating that to a man, make sure what you really want is that you're effectively communicating what that looks like to you.
Hmm.
Because a right man is going to make sure that he provides that. So when we're talking about the protection and providing of things of that nature, even on a spiritual space, let that be known. But it's one thing to say what you want. It's another thing to say what that means and what has to happen in order for you to feel that.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I know that you're also saying in all of that and people have to be specific about other words when they hear us sometimes be specific like we're not saying that don't go on vacation sometime with with a group of girls because it goes back to what we talked about earlier about women learning from other women, so there's nothing wrong with that. But at the
Right.
end of the day, most of our travel, especially to your exotic places, you want to be with you want to be booed up regardless of who your boo is. You want to be booed up. I'm going to tell you something. um I was invited to a second trip to one of the islands 2 years in a row. And I was talking to my performance coach, and that was one of the things that I expressed to that coach is that part of the reason that I didn't want to go to this exotic island, this beautiful resort, back to back, because I didn't want to go single. Because majority of the women that were going, because this was like in our second year, they were bringing their spouses because it was more approved this time than before. And so they were bringing their spouses or their significant others. And so when we get done with the business part of it, and when we're having fun and enjoying this island and all these amenities and it was we had all inclusive, so that meant all the food, all the alcohol we can have. You want to walk around with holding hands with somebody, whoever that somebody is for you. You understand what I'm saying? And so if I was to broke it down into pieces, I would say about a good 30 to 40% of why I didn't want to go was because I didn't want to visit that resort again single. Period. Regardless of what I was gonna, because for my own mental space, regardless of because some of what they talked about was streamed, and I understand that in order to be there, you get the bigger feeling of it all when you're in a learning mode, a receiving mode, right? For further your career, but you still have to have the mental balance and the mental space because I knew that mentally when I got to all the glory part of it and all the beautiful learning part of it, if I felt some kind of way in the evening time, then it was going to bring my mood down, right? So everything that was talked or taught, I couldn't probably really process it all because now I'm thinking about what I didn't have. You understand what I'm saying? So it wouldn't have been a good experience for me. And so in my heart, I didn't want to go. And again, that was a chunk of why I didn't go. You know what I mean? And yeah, and it boiled down to that because even my friends wasn't people that I would have taken with me to the island. I wanted to be something more intimate, someone I had a relationship with, and that's why I'm dating, but somebody that was, I'm looking to go to the next level with them and we're not just still here, right? So yeah. So yeah, well, you can still go out with your friends and go travel with your friends and your girlfriends, but at the end of the day, that's what it's about. We want to be booed up. We want to be loved on. We want to be held. We want to sit with our significant other and watch the sun go down over the water, right? You know how gorgeous that is. You shouldn't have to experience that by yourself. So we want that. We want that. And women, you have to ask that. But in order to get to that level, get out of your own way and start dating, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about a numbers game, right? It's about a numbers game. You're not gonna find after one date. Um, and I mean, it happens, but the odds are it won't because of odds and statistics, right? But very seldom when you go on a date with a guy for the first date, for the first time you go out on a date and he happens to be the one, and then that happens to be the guy that you go to the altar with, you know what I mean? Usually people don't really, that's not how people wed. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but a lot of times people meet each other at places. Like I ran into them there, or we met here, we met there. Now the online thing is being more, but these people have not found that first person. They've probably been online and maybe went on a couple of dates before they got to this person, although they met online. So it takes some trial and error. And you got to go through the process. You got to go out here and date. You got to play the odds game. Go on 10 dates. Challenge yourself that say, okay, over the next 6 months I'm going to go on 10 dates. Okay, that's like 1.3 dates per month. And if it happens to be a repeated guy, then fine, it's a repeated guy. Maybe the same guy is date number 1 and 4, whatever, because you need to go out with him again. But keep doing that, and then that way you can find that person. Because like I said, it's not going to normally happen on the first date, but you got to date. You got to get out in your own way. You got to get dressed up and pretty. You got to go out and meet people. You can't stay in your little circle around your neighborhood and just travel to Walmart, to the CVS, to your gym, to your kids school, to your home, to your job, and then back. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You got to expand yourself a little bit. Go out of your normal radius. Change up where you shop at as far as groceries. Change up which roads you take. You never know when I've seen people in the cars and I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? So change that up. You know what I mean? So you can have you can see people more. You know what I mean? You can change the time you go to the gym. It might be a person at the gym you got your eye on, whatever, you know. But you have to expand your little bubble in order to get out and meet these people. And if it means dating online, and please, and especially our generation, Ronnie, our generation has such a big thing about online dating. They hear it like they feel like, oh my God, I'm online dating. I must be desperate. But we're on social media most of the time. That's how we do most of the things. If I wanted to shop, the first thing I'll probably do is shop online. You understand what I'm saying? If I wanted to get a particular hairstyle that I want to wear. The odds are I'm going to go watch some girls that are doing the latest hairstyles to get an understanding of what hairstyle I want to wear. It's all online. So if we're doing a majority of our life online, right, communicating with our friends and checking in and seeing that this person doing this or this person did that or these people had kids that graduated, we're seeing this stuff online. So if we're seeing everything else online, why can't we get around dating online? Make it make sense to me, Ronnie.
Well, I've learned that Facebook was an app that started to, it was a dating app for college students. And listen, truth be told, and I think many women have grasped this, as well as men, that Facebook is still a dating app, the way some
Mhm.
pictures you see. And so is Instagram. You know, you
Right.
shut down Instagram tomorrow and you're going to have chaos. It's when people don't understand how closely they are tied to their digital life. So, yes, you're right. The dating apps or the dating sites have evolved, and I believe people need to get over their preconceived notions of being on a dating app. So yeah, it's funny. It's interesting to see how this all plays out and the minds and the conversations that people have concerning that are still thinking they're desperate. Meanwhile, I'm looking at their Facebook profile. I'm like, well, damn! It looks like you're looking for dates on just your everyday post. So what the hell is the difference? But again, the mind can sometimes be a very complicated thing when it comes
It
to
is. And
people
we
compartmentalizing it.
and you know what, and like I said, it's pretty much our age group. Let me tell you, my son, 26 years of age, he's been with his girlfriend now about 4 years. And they've even moved to Colorado. And come to find out, he met his girlfriend online on a dating app. But here's the kicker: they both went to the same college. They're in college at the same university, but yet they met online. And I was like, so y'all met online, y'all in college, like it's a whole bunch of people. They said they didn't want to go through all that. They didn't want to be trying to go out with this person. They wanted to kind of narrow it down a little bit, and they narrowed it down to each other, however many dates they had before that. But they narrowed it down to each other and realized that they clicked. And I tell you what, they got the same hairstyle and everything. Like they look like they could be kin, to be honest with you. So maybe they were meant to be together, but they met each other through a dating app, but online in college instead of at a college party. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
and it's worked. They've been together 4 years, so something's working. You know what I mean? Something's working.
If it works, it works, it works, and that's in the end, you know, I listen, as I've made mentioned many times, I'm still growing in this space. As long as I've been here, I'm still growing this up, and I'm not above learning the ways and the techniques and the strategies people are using to meet a significant other. And if it works, you know what? As they say, if you like it, I love it. Go
Yeah,
for it.
absolutely, absolutely. And so as we start to round this thing up, I think that the part or the takeaway that I want women to hear when we talk about what do women really want. First, understand who you are, right? If you understand who you are, you could better understand what you need from a partner. And again, I'm not talking about his needs. I'm just talking about your needs for now, right? We'll talk about his needs another time, but your needs for now. But you have to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, then you can't ask anything of a partner because they won't know what to give you. They won't know how to better accommodate you, better be with you. Like know your love language, right? Know if you are somebody that's gift giving or prefer gifts, or physical touch. Like know those things about yourself. Know that there's just certain things that you're not going to tolerate. Know that there are certain things that you do want in a person, and if height is a requirement, or looks is a requirement, or education is requirement, or income is a requirement, understand why you need that. If you say specifically, like me, I don't like to date men that are under a certain height because it's not them, it's me, right? I have an issue, well, not an issue, but I want to feel like a damsel in distress. I have this thing about feeling like a damsel in distress, like oh my God, help me. Like I want the whole works that you see on TV, right? And so I always feel that a man that is a certain height can't provide that to me, right? I feel that he can't wrap me in his arms like he needs to because I'm a woman that's 5'7", a size 8 in clothes. So I'm not a small woman. I'm a very statuous woman. And so I know that it's not his shit, it's my shit, right? So I want him to be able to pick me up, you know, and I always feel that a man that's my height can't do that effectively without me feeling like he gonna drop me. You understand what I'm saying? And so again, I know that this is my shit and not his shit. So rather than me look at him some kind of way, or I'm dating him and I'm feeling uncomfortable about certain things, I know why I want. Now I'm not saying a man that's short can't woo me, but what I'm saying is I have to know this about myself going in, right? I have to know that going in that this is how I might feel. And so that way I can adjust fire as necessary. I can adjust fire, be like, okay, Yashika, Is this something I'm be comfortable with? If he never picks me up off my feet again, am I going to be comfortable with this if we get to the altar and get married forever? Right? Am I going to be comfortable with if he's 5'7", the same height I am, and he picks me up? My legs might dangle a little bit more than I want to. You know what I mean? I need to be okay with that. I need to understand if I'm comfortable with that. And so that's that part. Knowing who you are so you can better understand what kind of partner you need. And then the other thing is, in order to get to that level, to be able to ask someone about the things you want, right? Get out of your own bubble, get out of your own way. Okay, get out of your own way, expand your circle, go outside your little bubble, because there's a whole world out there that you haven't seen. You know, don't be so closed off. When you are on a date with a man, talk to him, right? Talk. Don't give them the third degree and say where you're from, where how many kids you got, where you live, what's your future plan, when we going to the altar. Like, don't give them. Don't make it feel like it's an exam, right? Be in the moment, because if you be in a moment, then on the next day you can ask a few more questions or you can converse a little bit. Because a lot of times I'm realizing that men nowadays are just shooting their whole resumes just off the bat. You know what I mean? They're not even waiting for questions. They're telling me, "Hey, I've been divorced. I got kids. I got one grandchild. I'm doing this for a living." They're telling me their resumes before I even ask. You know what I mean? Because they know that at this point in life, being this age, we don't have time for all that small talk. Sometimes we just want to get to it and figure out if we're compatible for one another. Let me put all my stuff out of there, write my nutritional facts or whatever, like on a product, and tell you what I got going on. Then that way we can know if we're compatible from the very beginning, right? So that's that part. And then the other part that women need to understand is, do not expect, and when you asking for what you need, right? Understand what it is that you're willing to compromise on versus not compromising on. Okay? Because if you can do that, then you can say, okay, I expect this, or I know I'm going to get this, and if I don't get this, I'm gonna be okay with it, right? Know that whole picture, know what that whole picture looks like. Because if you go into it thinking that this is going to happen, that's going to happen, you'll just fool yourself. You'll fool yourself. So women, when you talk to them, be open, just be vulnerable. Tell them what it is that you need to tell them. And say it in a way where he or she, again, I'm not discriminating, will understand what it is that you want, because they're not mind readers either. And men are simpler than we think they are. You know what I mean? Men are simpler. They just want, listen, that's why when they go to the mall, they go to one store, they get to exactly what they're going to get, and that's it. That's as simple as they get. They're not about to go out and shop all the other stores. They're not about to drive around. If this Kmart or this Walmart ain't got what they want, they may go to one more Walmart, but then that's it. After that, they're going to forget all about it. Okay, they're going to be like, you know what? Let me just see if I can order it online, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So they simple. They know what they want, right? They know what they want. So don't play around. Just tell them ask the questions, or get to the understanding so that you can know if you're compatible, because they know what they want. They absolutely know what they want, right? And I love that analogy about shopping. Men go right to one store and that's it. And when you think about it that way, because us as women, we know we want to go shopping. We don't really have anything in mind, but we're going to look around. So we're going to go to 3 or 4 stores because we don't really know what we want. And so when you think about men and women, that's pretty much how it is in real life. When you think about the shopping experience of men and women, that's pretty much how it is in real life, right? That's it. So just be simple with them. Just talk openly. They'll get it. They'll get it.
So, in other words, what you're saying is that women want clarity.
Yes, that's it. That's
Okay.
it. Women
Okay.
want clarity. They
Okay.
want to know what we're doing. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you lead, we'll follow. But we want to know what we're doing, because we have to know what we're doing. And sometimes men, they may not have all the answers. They may say, well, wait a minute, what you mean? We just doing this. But we still need to know. We need to know what we're doing, because we got a plan. We want a plan. Okay, well, let me see. Well, let me plan this out because I'm gonna do this. That's how we think. We're thinking about everything. So that's how we get down. But at the end of the day, we want to be heard. We want to be understood. We want to be supported. We want to know that what you want is the same as what we want. We want to know that you got us. That's it. We want to know that you got us. Like, if we're down and out, do you have our backs? right? If we can't do this, can you do that? You know what I mean? So we want the comfort, we want the protection, we want the providing, we want to be heard, we want to be understood. You know, we want those things. And it's not a lot. These are things that people do for each other anyway, but people make it sound more bigger than what it is. And it's not that big, right? It's not that big.
Oh, it's not a lot. Okay.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. I always tell people,
Okay. It's
I
not a
always tell
lot.
people, be the person that you want to date. You know, and I don't mean that, and I mean literally, if I'm gonna be, or at least have a balance. I say, be the person you want to be, or have a good trade off, right? Have a good trade off that takes in place of that other thing. Have a damn good trade off. You understand what I'm saying? If he makes all the money, maybe you're a fantastic cook, maybe you're a good love maker, but you better have a damn good trade off, right? So you can balance it off. But be the person that you want to date. Period. Period.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we didn't share what 30 years of experience for the women that have talked to me, what women want, and if you didn't get it from what Yashika, being a woman, a grown ass woman, sharing with you what a woman wants, then definitely you can reach out to Ronnie and Yashika at gmail.com. That's Ronnie and Yashika at gmail.com, and add what you feel that we may have missed. But I just want to take a moment real quick to say cheers
I was just
to the gentleman and out to you, Yashika. But at the same time, I want to thank the many men and women that show support to the show, as we do know that there are many voices out there that are sharing what they feel is the right combination and the elixirs for dating and relationships. And we appreciate you taking the time because time is something that you can't get back to tune into Yashika and I. We greatly appreciate that, even more so than the contribution that you provide. So please, as you tune into the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so that whenever we drop a new video, that you could A, become a part of, or B, take time to listen in and you'll be a part of and showing what we're sharing for that week. So,
um,
is there anything else? Because I can go on for another 30 thoughts of what the women, but you know what? I think we've taken enough of the time. But then again, by all means, Yashika, if there's something more that you'd like to share, the floor is yours.
no, I think we pretty much covered it all. And yeah, we went over our normal time because there's just so much, and we probably could have went for another hour, But I know that the longer the video is, sometimes the people, won't sit there and watch it all. So we have to keep it simple. But you and I, they say, iron sharpen irons, and great minds think alike. Because I was just thinking that at the end of the video, we definitely needed cheers, and so as Ronnie
Absolutely.
said, as Ronnie said, make sure to turn on notifications and subscribe to our channel and hit us up in the chat to let us know what you think about this, what kind of videos you want to see. If you have a question, if you want to talk offline through email, just let us know. And all of our information of how to contact us is in the description of this video. And we are wrapping it up. And cheers to you, Ronnie. And
Cheers to you, Yashika, as well. Cheers.
you have a good evening and
You as well.
have a good night. Bye.
Good night, everybody.